Hi guys, welcome to Simple Programming. In our previous video, we looked at what is JSON Web Token, what is the history so far, and what is the structure of JSON, and what is the structure of the JSON Web Token, as well as the token component. In this video, we are going to implement that with the Spring Boot application. We are going to take the basic implementation of JSON Web Token in this Part 1 series. In Part 2 series, we'll use the Spring Securities advanced concepts to use with JWT token. Let us take a look at this implementation. So what I have here is I created a simple Spring Boot application which is going to have the Spring Boot starter web dependency in it, and then I'm going to inject io.json web token dependency to my application. As you might have noticed, I don't have the Spring data security dependency here, which means that I'm not going to use the Spring security components. I'm going to just use a simple filter to show you how to use JWT. I'm just going to use a filter bin to authenticate using JWT, which is to give you an idea of how the basic JWT works. Let's quickly go to our filter. So my filter is a generic filter bin and I'm going to override the do filter. Okay. So what I have done here is I'm going to accept an authorization here, which is going to be a header, and this authorization is going to contain the actual token along with another element which is called the bearer. So this bearer is nothing but a text that prefix the token. You can very well mention it to be token, or you can even mention your own name here, like let's say John, or in some cases you can give your application also here. So this is like an initial step to validate before you actually check the token. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to keep it simple, bearer. So if my header is null or if doesn't starts with bearer, then I'm going to throw an error right away saying that you're unauthorized. If that succeeds right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the token with my signing key. In this case, I'm going to have a string that is predefined in my application, but you can use private and public keys to authenticate your application. So I'm going to set my signing key and then I'm going to pass the token with pass claims, which is going to give me the claims associated with the token, because the token comprises of header, payload, and the signature. So it's going to pass the token and give me the different objects present in the token in the claims object. I'm going to set it in the request and then continue my filtering chain. If there is an error here, which means token is invalid, means it's going to throw an error 401 unauthorized. Let's go to our configuration. It's going to be a simple configuration. I'm going to auto-wire my filter here, and I'm going to create a filter registration bean, which is going to register this JWT filter, and then I'm going to add a URL pattern for which the filter has to be applied, and I'm going to apply this filter on all secured URIs. Let's go to our application. I have a login controller. So we need an initial login controller or token controller to give the token to the end user, right? So he needs to obtain the token from our application and use this token to access our application resources. So in order to do so, the end user is going to access our application with login token, login request mapping. And when he accesses this method, it's going to give the token to the user. And in this case, what he has to send to me is a client object which is going to contain the client ID, client name, password text. And I'm going to send back to the user with the token. So basically what you will do is, like, once you get the client ID, you will be validating and verifying those elements present in the client object along with the elements that are present in your database. You will be comparing with your database whether the information that is passed to obtain the token is valid or not. Then you will be generating the token. So here I'm going to use the jwts.builder to build my token. You could see here I'm going to set the subject, which is going to be my client name, and I'm going to set my customized roles, which is going to be user, and I'm going to set at what time it was issued, and I'm going to sign it with the signature algorithm HS256. There are multiple algorithms available which you can use to secure your application. And in order to sign this algorithm, I'm going to use my, the predefined key. So then I have my application controller, which is the actual resource where the user needs to access with the help of a token. So in order to access this URI, he needs to include the token. If the user tries to access this resource without a token, it should throw an unauthorized exception. So that's pretty much a very simple example of JWT configuration with Spring Boot application. So let's quickly run this application and let's examine the behavior in Postman. All right, our application is up and running. Now let's go to our Postman. So now Postman, what we are going to do is we're going to access the login with the post request. The body is going to contain client ID, which is going to be let's say retail, and the client name, let's say retail 12345. The client name is going to be, let's say, Walmart. And then you have to give a secret key, right? So let's say our password text is going to be 123 QFT. All right. So this is pretty much what I am expecting from an end user in order to generate a token and give it back to them. So when I click on send, it should go to my login controller and then generate the key and send it back to me. So when I clicked on send, okay, there is an error here. Oh, the client ID is a integer. So let's say 123456. I click on send. So it has returned the token object to me. So I'm going to get this token and then I'm going to a new tab, and then let's go and take a look at our application controller. It's going to be secured app. In the header, what I'm going to do is it's going to be authorization header, and I need to prefix this token with bearer space token. So now when I click on send, it should give me a response. Consent. Okay, sorry. So the port is 9001. Click on send. I'm getting welcome, you're secure. Let's try to remove this and click on send. We have got our error response here, which is 401 unauthorized. So now do you see how this JWT token works with Spring Boot application without Spring security components? In our next video, we are going to use the Spring security components and code it in a more professional way. Thanks for watching, guys, and please subscribe for more such videos.